Long, long ago, the people were told to prepare for a great, great flood. The people were told to prepare several canoes to stock them with food and cedar, supplies for many days. It was going to rain, and there would be no stop to this rain. It rained and rained until pretty soon the water was so deep it was up to the mountaintops. The people in their canoes tied their ropes together, and their canoes were rafted to the mountaintops, keeping them from drifting away and getting lost. And eventually, the rain started to recede. Some of the canoes broke loose and floated away. Some to the north, some to the south, some to the east, and some to the west, creating all the bands of natives that are the ancestors.
Our theme was Gwezadad, Teachings of the Ancestors. I had heard, as I was growing up, portions of the Gwezadad, the teachings, and very well acquainted with many of the teachings that were so important to our people. Our theme was like a gift to the tribal people, but in turn, we were the recipients of the gift too, so that we all were gifting each other in this whole part of the planning of the journey. And that was part of the sacredness of the Gwezadad, is these teachings would be revived, resurge, and they would resurge in our younger generation. People know us as the Squaxin Island tribe. We are of several bands of Native people, very strong people. We were people of the Squato, the Tepikson, the Sehawamish, the Squaxawamish, the Sahawamish. We are people of the water. We are the people of the Salish Seas. We are Lushootseed people. If a person could listen closely to the Lushootseed language, they would hear the song of the land.
Asfalated that Ochasbichat Elim Tis Artis W Saflahad Selgwa Tisilsh at the Toshotsid Abitsat Achich Adidza Gagwi Haieja Kika Quikwala O Slutla Mana pepa kwa sasha tit wo out fijo heya I we.
Our tribal history goes back thousands of years, and if you think of all the centuries of living so close to the land, and always being a student, being out there in the great outdoors, there is so much that a person would acquire after all those centuries. And all that knowledge was put into traditions for our people so that we would always have respect to the land and to teachings that came from the land to the people. A lot of our cultural identity, it comes from the land. Our trail systems were very vast, very important for commerce. It's very difficult for many people to believe that centuries ago, tribal people were business people.
Yes, I dig. I've been digging since I was a little guy.
So you don't know any different?
No, I was raised on the beach, fishing, clam digging. So this right here is dedicated for the seniors. It's part of the grower settlement that came from the Rafidi decision. So that was any unstaked and uncultivated land, the tribes were entitled to 50% of the naturally occurring shellfish. All the clams being harvested today will be for commercial purposes. So they'll dig their limit from a quota, and then they'll sell them to a buyer who's buying on the beach right here, and then they'll just reimburse with money right on the beach. The buyer is actually owned by the tribe.
Oh, okay.
So it's our seafood company. So we just have an agreement with them that they show up to every dig we have, and they take care of us. Right now they are digging manillas, like the little steamers. And that's most of our intertidal shellfish activities are manillas.
Okay.
We do surveys every year, annually, on our beaches. We schedule and go through the surveys. So we'll survey a beach before we dig it and make sure that the population's there.
First one is poison. We only want to do a fourth of the tree, and I like to explain it as if you got a scratch on your skin. That's what's going to happen. This is a scratch on this tree. The trees will get stronger because now it has to heal itself. So we're kind of awoken it, and now it has to get the strength to heal itself. And I've heard that these trees, my ancestors has harvest, are stronger than the cedar trees that are around them.
Well, get all the way, right? There you go. Wow. Go ahead.
I didn't know what camas was before this last year, and Krise and some of the youth from here went and gathered it, and it was awesome, and they had a lot. And so we were sitting for, waiting for a drum group to start, so they spread it out, and we had to, uncover them from the root. I'd never done that, so it's like, they're like look like little tiny onions, and it was really fun to sit around with the other kids and adults and be able to taste it and say what this is, where we got them, what they look like. They're little blue flowers, and Ray told us a little bit about, the growing season that, it lasts longer up in the mountains, and that's up in the hills where they went and got these, and having it roasted or put in soups and things like that, or just raw. So that was fun, and it was fun to do that with them. I didn't get to go harvest this year. I hope to next year.
I can't get enough of weaving. My grandmother, Verna Henry, and her mother, which is my great-grandmother, Teresa Nason, were very big basket weavers for our tribe. So it runs through my blood, and I can feel it after I have, a few hours. I can just get into this zone, and everything just flows. Getting involved in my culture has awakened my spirit that I've always had, that I never knew about. And I'm like a sponge now. Everything that I can get around, I try to learn. I try to participate in everything that I can. And if I can't, then I'm upset about it, because I would rather I wish I could just do this all day, every day.
It's very sacred to me. I have a lot of respect for cedar and the trees. Cedar saved my life, I really believe. By working with it, it helps me put my prayers and my energies into each and every weave. And so then when I get done with it and I give it to somebody, it feels really good inside.
I'm the art teacher here for the youth for 3 or 4 years now. So I teach drums, baskets, hats, rattles, just painting and artwork in general. I do anything the kids want me to do. If they want to learn how to do something, I know most. My mom's very, I had to sit there as a kid, so I learned all these things as a youngster, and we have to pass it on, otherwise it's lost. And so what I remember, I share as much as I can. What's the story behind it? What does this mean? And if they just say an animal, a bear, that's just artwork at that point in my eyes, from what my dad taught me, because even though it might not look as pretty, but it has a story behind it inside, that's our writing. Those are our stories. Once you put those intricate details in there and you know the story behind what you're making, it makes it that much stronger in my eyes, that much more valuable.
Wahalatu is my ancestral name. It comes from my grandmother's side, belonged to William Bagley. My English name is Joseph Seymour Jr. I'm come from Squaxin Island and the Pueblo of Acoma. When the call went out for artists for this mural, I drew up a design that had a sun and water and 7 canoes to represent the 7 inlets, the 7 traditional inlets of Squaxin Island. And then Ira Coyne had his design that he submitted. We combined essentially our designs. We were able to keep a lot of his elements, the background, the water, the realism. We were able to incorporate my ideas, the sun, and the 7 canoes to represent the inlets. Well, historically, that's what we come from. We come from the 7 inlets of the Southern Puget Sound. The idea to have the 7 canoes, I think for me was huge to represent, who we are, to represent who Squaxin, the Squaxin tribe, who we are traditionally, who we are at heart, who we are in our blood.
Our tribe has been planning this for the last 7 years, and to think that so many people have been putting so many good thoughts and so many memories into each one of those gifts. There's 7 years of memories and 7 years of happy thoughts of the canoe journey that we're hosting, and then all of the past canoe journeys as well. And so sitting there with our elders and with our youth, being able to make those gifts is amazing. I mean, we had a goal of making 10,000 handmade gifts, and we exceeded that goal by far. By thousands, we exceeded it. So that was definitely a rewarding feeling for all of us. We want to let everybody know that we're still here. I've heard a lot that non-native people don't think that natives are around anymore, and I always ask the question, how could you not know that native people are still here, because you're surrounded by them. Being a West Coast native, we had the canoes and the longhouses, and so we weren't traditionally dressed with lots of feathers like the Plains Indians were. Yes, we're still here, and we still practice our cultural rights. We practice our treaty rights of fishing, hunting, clam digging, shellfishing.